Hey everybody, Al Puglisi Trains. This is part two of the visit to Bill Garvin's beautiful model railroad, and this is Bill Garvin. How you doing, Bill?
Hi, everybody.
And let's talk to him about the layout. So let me switch the lens. All right, hey Bill. Now, when is there a name for this layout?
Well, it was a freelance idea, but I wanted to base it on Pennsylvania, Appalachia, and I liked the Pennsylvania Railroad. So I called it the Pop and GG Subdivision.
Okay. Wow.
That's what our great grandkids call us, both my wife and I.
Okay.
So it's the Pop and GG Subdivision of the PRR.
Wow, I didn't know that. I might just keep it Bill Garvin's model railroad.
That's much easier.
Right, for the channel. When did you start building this?
I seriously started it around 2010.
Okay.
So it's been about 13, 14 years.
And it's about 20 by 22 feet?
20 by 23 is the room.
Okay.
But I had to divide the room into some working space too.
Okay.
So my workbench takes up an area and a little bit for a paint room.
And then this North Coast DCC.
Yep.
And are you a member of any clubs or?
Yeah, a member of the Harm, which is a local, started off as a Harford County based, but it's this one's the Harford Associates.
Okay.
For railroad modeling.
Right. Now
and we have about 40 members now.
Okay.
But it encompasses a little more. We extended a couple into Delta, PA, and a couple into New Jersey.
Okay. And what made you decide to go with the fall and being freelance with CSX and Steam? And
I grew up in Gettysburg, PA as a kid, right next to the railroad.
Okay.
And my grandfather was a conductor on the B&O.
Okay.
So I kind of was familiar and always around trains. I started off with an O-gauge GG1 from Lionel.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was my go-to toy for years and years. Only on about a 4x8 piece of plywood, but still, it was a train and it was fun.
Wow.
And I said, I like trains, but I don't want to be constrained. I don't want to have to know how many blades of grass grew in this street corner on that day.
Right. Right.
I want to pick, if I look at something and I see it and I like it,
right.
Well, that never showed up in that area. I don't care. I like it.
Right.
It's going to run on my railroad.
Right.
And as far as the autumn scene, that was easy. When I built the basement of the house, I told my wife that I wanted to build a model railroad down here. So we came to an agreement. I could have that half of the basement, but she wanted a colorful scene.
Right. Right.
And nice things, not just dirty
factories,
yards.
Steel mills.
No.
And city.
It had to be pretty and it had to be autumn.
Okay. And
I didn't mind a bit.
Okay.
So autumn it was.
Wow, that's impressive. Now, and I guess it's open bench work or whatever they call it.
It's L girder, and I mixed a couple different types. I learned every bit of this by reading books.
Okay.
And just experimenting.
Wow.
The only way to do it. I had never built a railroad before in my life. This is my first and I guess last.
Right.
But
it looks great.
It's a combination of L girder and open bench and open framework. But I knew I always wanted to have places where I could take the scenery down below eye level and raise.
Right.
So I kept it. There's no sheets of plywood on there.
All right. Now, did somebody design this for you, or did you design it yourself?
I designed it myself after reading a whole bunch of books on, from McClellan to John Allen to everybody in the industry, and said, okay, what do I want? Well, I need this, and this, and I came down, scoped it out, and I passed it by CMR, Custom Model Railroads.
Jeff Springer.
Jeff looked at it, Jeff Springer.
Right.
And I took it down to him, and he looked at it and called me up the next day and said, it looks pretty good. I'd go with that.
Okay.
So that formed the basis for it.
Okay.
I changed one thing on it, and that was taking out a Y and an extra track. Other than that, it's kind of how I started.
Now, I'll let you tell the story of how we met or why we met, I guess, and you could go from there.
After working on it a few years, and I was working full time at the time, and then COVID hit, and everything sort of changed for everybody, and I was working at home. So I had easier access to it and time to work on it. I reached a point where I was saying, I don't know what to do with this town. I don't know quite how to make this look good. Mm-hmm. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't quite know how to do it. So I looked around and found some folks in Tennessee that the same folks that do Backdrops.com.
Okay.
And there were three of them, Jim, Orlando, and Peter.
Okay.
Who came out for a couple of weeks and stayed nearby and helped me get over that hump. They did some of the rock carving. Mm-hmm. But when we finished, it still wasn't quite where I wanted it. It was good, but it wasn't quite where I wanted. It didn't have that appeal that I wanted to see, that snap. Mm-hmm. So I started asking around, okay, who can give me a hand with this? I don't want to just sit back and just build the railroad for me. I want to be involved.
Right.
But I sure could use some experience and help. And I finally got a hold of an old friend of mine, Tommy Gilbert, in Gettysburg.
Yes, Tommy.
From age 4 to age 16, I grew up in Gettysburg.
Okay. And
his uncle then owned this hobby shop. His brother owned the food store. So I walked in and talked to Tommy for a while, and we reacquainted. I said, could you give me the name of somebody who might be able to help me? And he wrote a couple names down, and at the top of the list was one I'd never heard of called Al Puglisi. I said, okay, I don't know who that is, but I'd be happy to call him.
Right.
And I did one night, and lo and behold, you actually answered my call. You were willing to talk to me. You were enthusiastic about helping.
Right.
What more can you ask?
Right.
And I think we've hit it off pretty well since then. That was about 8 months ago.
Yeah, it really was. And then I invited you over to the layout because, folks, I think one of the most important things is, if he's going to let me help him, my artistic taste has to align with your artistic taste. Otherwise, it's, I don't want to do that. So I invited you to come over.
Yep.
And you spent about 3 hours at my layout and really liked what I was doing. Folks, that's really important because you got to find somebody that has artistic taste that you like. My taste might not be what you like, or it might be exactly what you're looking for. I guess in this case,
tastes are neither right or wrong, but you can't make them clash.
Right.
I would never have been able to hook up with somebody who was so technically oriented that they wanted to turn it into a 20 foot by 20 foot steel mill.
Right.
And some people would love that.
Right.
And that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to take this into a nice rural, pastoral, functioning community.
Right.
And your thoughts were exactly the same.
Yeah, you just need to find somebody, whether it's somebody like me or somebody else. You just have to find somebody to say, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing. I see the way you weather. I see your buildings.
Yeah.
I see your scenery. I love your scenery. I love your buildings. I love your city. Or you might look at that person's city and say, you know what? I don't like this guy's city. I don't like the way his layout flows.
Yeah.
But in this case, you fell in love with my layout.
Yeah.
And when I came over, I looked at it and I also introduced you to my mentor, Howard Zane. Mm-hmm. Now you know Howard. And I said, well, look, Bill, I think the first thing I noticed is you needed about a couple thousand trees. Yeah.
And I didn't believe that at first.
Right.
Wrong.
Yeah. And I said, look, you got to look at some of the great layouts out there that model fall. I didn't model fall, so I told you should check out Bob Van Gelder's layout and Dick Elwell's Hozak Valley, which I think are the two, in my opinion, two of the finest model railroads. They're in the top 5 or 10 of finest model railroads, and they model fall.
Yeah.
So we proceeded to copy that. So,
and I was already sold on fall, so
yep.
it blended perfectly.
So you had a couple hundred trees, Woodland Scenics and other brands, and it didn't make sense to get rid of those.
No,
but
of course not.
You know, we Bill and I worked together, folks. We had a blast because you know, I learned some stuff from him and he learned some stuff from me, and I'm not an egotistical person. Hey, if you've got a technique you can teach me, great. Here's how I do it. I'm not telling you this is the only way to do it. It's like Howard has said 1,000 times. This is the way I do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's also my motto, and that was your motto. And we had a blast coming down here. I mean, every day I came over here to work on this, we were together. You weren't upstairs.
Right.
You were with me. We were working together on this, and we were feeding off each other, and we had a great time. And I had a great time.
And that's one of the benefits of just retiring.
Yeah, yeah. And
I could spend that time.
Yeah, and you loved it. Technically, you are my first client. You're technically the first person that that actually hired me that said, you know. So,
and I didn't scare you off?
No. And
okay.
You know, hey, congratulations. You know, I don't have any awards for that, but you know, so my appreciation and my great appreciation and friendship.
Well, it takes two, and you were more than willing to listen.
Right.
And unlike a lot of people that I've talked to over the years, yeah, they'll help, but they want to do it their way.
Right.
They don't want to know what you want.
Right.
They want to know how to convince me to go with what they want.
Right. Right.
That usually won't work.
Right. Now, if it's to the point where what I want and what you want is just too far, then you got to break it off, and then you got to kind of find somebody where you can, you know. But in this case, we agreed.
I'm sorry, we're not going to build a turntable under a waterfall.
Right, you know, but yeah, we agreed pretty much. There were some things that I said, Bill, you know, you got to get, you know, I can't stand, but we made it work.
Well.
We made it work, and you compromised some, and I compromised some, and I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this. And
no, it's been great. It's been fun, and I think productive.
Yeah, it worked good. And we're going to end this video, folks, with we forgot to do the night scenes.
Yes.
And you know,
we spent a lot of time fixing that up.
My God, yeah,
designing it.
And I'm old. I'm in my 60s, but I can't move like I used to, but I can still get under the table. And with your guidance, because right off the bat, folks, I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm scenery, structures. If you have electrical issues, I'm not your man. But with your guidance, because you're an electrical engineer, I was able to do all that grunt work, and we lit this thing up. So I'm going to end this video giving you a quick light tour, and I'll shake your hand, Bill. It was awesome.
I would say to anybody, if this man is willing to work with you, you better jump at the opportunity.
Well, folks, yeah,
this is great.
You're not paid. I'm not getting paid. No. You're not getting paid a dime. But folks, I really appreciate it. So let me end the video. I hope you enjoyed watching us run trains on part 1. So I'm going to end this video with some night scenes. Is that okay, Bill?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, folks, let me give you the night tour. It's something we forgot to do, and we can dim down these lights, and in person, it's not as bright as this. It's actually less bright than this, but Bill and I were really pleased on how things lit up, and I want to thank you for watching. If there's anything that I can do on your model railroad, I work in HO scale, I can work in S scale, and I can work in O scale and high rail. I'm not an electrical engineer, but if you need scenery, detailing, ideas, help either building it or with a layout you've already got and you want to step it up and transform it to the next level, please let me know. So let's take some shots. The church with beautiful stained glass windows. Nice little passenger station in town. Opposite end of the engine house facility. Folks, this is a work in progress still. Bill and I are not done with the lighting. There's a lot more lighting that can be done. So we're just doing the tip of the iceberg. So again, this is the fun of model railroading, the fun of doing trains. Just giving you a quick walkthrough of some of the lighting, some of the things we've been doing. And this is the meat packing plant. And boy, those boys are still working. And well, we've got the diner over here, and that's lit up, and they're still working. Another gas station. And we've got, the men are still working over at Garvin Metal, and we've got the South River Model Works building lit up, and we've got Howard Zane's beautiful, beautiful hotel lit up. Got beautiful engine house all lit up, custom built. I built for Bill. We got our power plant lit up here. Oh yeah. Got this whole area lit up. Got the church and the company houses. Got the coal mine lit up. The whole facility. Boy, is it bright, this lumber yard here, folks. Lights up the whole scene. We've got this old fine scale kit lit up. Sawmill lit up. The whole thing here lit up. Folks, thanks for watching my channel. If there's anything I can do for you on your model railroad, please don't hesitate to contact me at alpug1@verizon.net. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a dime, and it greatly helps us push out the channel. Thanks so much for watching.